Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. And please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there's a donate button there if you'd like to help us out. Today's video, well, it's going to be an eyebrow raiser for many, right? But we can't be afraid of putting ourselves out there, and obviously we have to face the reciprocal reactions. So, today's video, God, the original Strawman. Basically, we know what a Strawman is. A Strawman is just a image of a man. It's not a real man. So let's look at the Anglo-Saxon word God. Now, there was an Anglo-Saxon word God, small g-o-d, used to define the various Anglo-Saxon deities like Woden and Thor, which actually, that's where we get Wednesday and Thursday from. But when the Christians came along, in about 500 CE, they made sure to capitalize G-O-D to make sure that everybody knew there was only one male as opposed to goddess, creator, being, noun. Unless one thinks that it's not a male, then why, our Father, who art in heaven, thy kingdom come? Come on, it is a male. And especially to all the Catholics out there, they've yet to make a female a priest, because obviously God's a man in the form of God or God Jesus, however they look at it. So let's make an acronym out of God, G-O-D, Grand Old Delusion. A straw man. Has anybody ever been able to prove that there is a one male or female creator, being, noun? No. All the inferences, the suppositions, those are all straw man arguments that really avoid the basic question. Prove that there is a one male creator being. End of story. You know, another example of classic straw man arguments, and this is where Hindus have to learn to step up to the plate. Often when we state the fact that real yoga is all about the Hindu religion, we often get the straw man argument. I don't know if they really know that's what they're doing or not, but they'll say, oh, you only think Hindus can do yoga? That's not what we said. Real yoga is all about the Hindu religion, and obviously taught by Hindus, to hopefully anybody who wants to learn. So it's a totally different understanding between a student and a teacher. True to all the religions of the world, anyone should be free to learn any of them, but rationality, honesty, logically, one who teaches must be a member of that religion. Straw man arguments. So the grand old delusion, trying to prove there's a one male creator, being, noun. Straw. Let's make an acronym. Silly, trivial, ridiculous, absurd word. Told you this would be a controversial. But that's what is meant by God. And if people use it, which they often do, in just a superficial way, by not adhering to the primal definition, well, then they're actually insulting the Christians and those of other religions, like Hindus, for example, who misuse this word. They're insulting both the Christians and the Hindus. So, we just had Thanksgiving. I wonder how many gave thanks to the Native American Indians whose land was stolen. Yeah, of course, they were violent among each other also, but how many actually gave thanks to the Native American Indians? Because the invaders came in and basically took everything. But actually that was preceded by Columbus, who, remember, he never came to America. Now, on our podcast, we've actually read The Entire American Dream. This is a book I wrote back in 1993, The American Dream, Waking Up. So it was a look at this Christian God, if you will, and the people that went around the world trying to convert. So let's look at something from the log of Christopher Columbus. where he said, quote, "I certify to your highness that in no part of Castile could things be so secure, not even a shoestring was lost. I cannot get over the fact of how docile these people are. They have so little to give, but will give it all." But he went on to say, "I have great hope in our Lord." And obviously, they equate God and Jesus as the same. "I have great hope in our Lord that your highness will convert all of them to Christianity, and they will all belong to you, for I regard them as yours now." Again, to all those non-Christians, like the Hindus, misusing the word God, do you really know what you're saying? We'll get into some of the words that we should be using, of course, but that is a foreign word. So let's look at when these invaders encountered the indigenous people. For example, Colonel Shivington, who was a former Methodist minister, said, quote, "Damn any man who sympathizes with Indians. I've come to kill Indians and believe it is right and honorable to use any means under God's heaven to kill Indians." Then we come, obviously, to slavery, where boats named Jesus, Mercy, Angel, roamed the coast of Africa in search of cheap labor. And we can look to passages like Leviticus 25, "Both thy bondmen and thy bondsmaid, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that round about you." George McDuffie, governor of South Carolina, proclaimed to the Carolina legislature in 1835, quote, "For the institution of domestic slavery, we hold ourselves responsible only to God. No human institution, in my opinion, is more manifestly consistent with the will of God under both Jewish and Christian dispensations of our religion." Wow. So, again, God, grand old delusion, a grand old delusion that had serious ramifications for all the quote-unquote others. William Harper, who was endorsed by Senator John C. Calhoun in his memoir on slavery in 1837, stated, quote, "It is the order of nature and of God that the being of superior faculties, or knowledge, and therefore of superior power, should control and dispose of those who are inferior." And it wasn't just a racist thing, it was a sexist thing also. St. Augustine, for example, one of the prominent early church fathers, the Catholic Church, who interestingly had several concubines before his conversion, stated, quote, "Women were not born in the image of God, so it is a father." And another of the church fathers, Tertullian, who was considered a unique genius of Latin Christianity, put his position concerning women bluntly when he said, "You, women, are the devil's gateway. How easily you destroy man." Men today, right, who often say, "Oh, you made me do it." Adam, "Oh, Eve made me eat the apple." Well, what a wuss you were. I mean, talk about the ridiculousness of the whole theology. Remember, theos is about God, so whenever you talk about theology, it's about the Christian theology and Jewish. But come on, the Jews are not upset that the Christians basically stole everything, including their Jewish rabbi, Yeshua. Grand old delusion. Tertullian said, quote, "You women are the devil's gateway. How easily destroyed man in the image of God. Because of the death which you brought upon us, even the Son of God had to die." So talk about a fictitious image, a straw man. And you remember the straw man in The Wizard of Oz? What was he lacking? The Tin Man, he needed a heart. He needed to learn love. The lion, he needed to learn courage. The straw man, he needed a brain. Think, 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 think. Work, 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 pray, 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 think, think, think. Rationality, logic. So, particularly as Hindus, you need to just stop using this Christian word, God. One, if you just make it a superficial catch-all term, then it's just superficial. But you have your own terms to use. If you want to use a term at all. Remember, as Hindus, we say Maunavakyapada Brahman, this supreme experience of Brahman, which we'll define in a moment. But this supreme experience is known how? Through the oxymoron of silent speech. There's something we all share in common. Obviously, it's the words and the writings that get us into trouble, or they can save us also. Maunavakyapada Brahman. So, to use words, remember Sanskrit is the ancient Arya or noble, another misused word, language of the Hindus. It's a religious language. So we use the word Brahman. Comes from the root bri, which means to expand, recognizing the Big Bang, the expansion of the universe. Bri, Brahman. And it also stands for the factual reality of electromagnetic energy, which preceded the Big Bang, and then gravity. And all the principles of life came into being: work, heat, light, thermodynamics. So this inner essence that all of us share is what we mean when we say Brahman. Brahman's not God, because God, remembers, an anthropomorphic deity, a one male creator of being. And so, again, Hindus, when you misuse that term, you're insulting all of our female deities. Remember, it's not patriarchal, right? It's half and half, obviously. Life is male and female coming together on the material and the spirit plane, if you will. So Brahman refers to the pure existence, pure consciousness that is life itself. Pure existence, Sat. Chit, pure energy, which can neither be created nor destroyed, hence no need for a creator. Just always is, huh? That's hard to wrap the mind around, of course, because we look for linear timetables, right? Which is monotheism, right? A circle is different. Hindus are think circular, not linear. Though there's a time for linear thinking. This is the binary system. Remember when Roman numerals came along, that only took us so far. The Hindus came along and added the zero. Now you have the binary system, right? Which makes life compute. So the pure energy, sound energy, hence the Big Bang, the first emanation of creation. Sound energy. And then light energy, heat, which produces within humans and other animals too, the feeling, the emotion of bliss or love, because love is a warm experience. Hence, Brahman is the understanding of the essence of life. Sat, Chit, Ananda's the bliss. Pure existence, pure energy, consciousness. Sound energy, light energy, heat energy, and then having emotions as we do, which we share with our other animals as well. Bliss or love. So our inner essence is basically love and light and energy, which is you and me. That's why Hindus say namaste, because we're recognizing, and it comes from the heart, we're recognizing this commonality. This is the Ekam Sat, the unified consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda, of pure energy, sound energy, light energy, heat energy, which we all have. That's what's keeping us alive at this moment. And the experience of love or bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. So So Brahman refers to the greater source of that. And then we use the term Atma for the individual source, Jivatma. Because you and I are individual sources of love, light, and energy. And obviously, in just two of us coming together, even with you and your pet, now you have a greater source of love, light, and energy. Or this is Brahman, the greater source. That's all. It's pretty simple stuff, really. It's not that complicated. So this is the Ekam Sat, which then becomes innumerable Nam and Rup, or name and form. I mean, this is the multiplicity that is life. Just think for a moment, we look for a one God. There's no one of anything. Now, one is an indicator, yes. There's one Ganesha, one Muruga, one Shiva. But that's just an indicator, because everything is made up of so much. The world is a polymorphic world. It's stereophonic. It's not monotheistic. That is what our mind invents, especially our left masculine brain. And it really is a power play, looking for the one. Think of how that plays out in life, right? We are the best. We are the one. You need the zero also to make life compute. Zero to many. So, the basic Hindu belief, though we do, obviously everybody's at a different place in their realizations, all of us. There's always somebody that knows more than I do or you do, right? Or less. This is just life, right? We just keep striving. But hopefully the older we get, we've done some introspection, and we should have, a little more knowledge than we had when we were tweens and teens. So that's why we should always respect our elders, for the most part, if they're living, a fairly ethical life. We all make mistakes. We all do things we're not proud of in life. But that's how we learn also, by making mistakes. It's an important part of life. Can't be afraid to live life and make mistakes. Watch how people flip back and forth from one extreme to the other. This is the sadalolahara of life, the truth of the swing of life that's destroying our ignorance. So we can't be afraid to go in one direction and then find out I went in a completely wrong direction, reverse course, go in another direction. It's life. So, the essence of Hinduism, even though we have our various spirit beings, now remember, being is important, because being is a noun, but it's also a verb. Brahman is not a being noun. It's a neuter term. It's a verb. Being, verb, the verb of Satchidananda, love and light and energy, that manifests in innumerable name and form, Nam and Rup. So we respect both, the being noun and the being verb. So, three simple words that define Hinduism. Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art. And the that we are is the Satchidananda, the love, light, and energy. But prior to that is the zero, Sunya, the no thingness. Tat. Satchitananda. Tat is the zero experience, no thing. That's why we Hindus, we don't use the word soul. We have to clarify that. Sometimes we do, but in the Western understanding, or especially Christian understanding, that comes from the Greek psyche, which is still connected to your mind. It's not your body. So remember, no body is spiritual. Don't fall for that silly cliche, I'm spiritual but not religious. That means you have no body. Spirit is incorporeal. But the soul or spirit in the Western context, or Christian context, is still connected to the mind. However, we Hindus use the appropriate Sanskrit Hindu term, Atmana, which literally means not your mind. Mana is mind, Atmana. Just like apolitical, Atmana, not your mind. So you can have a little fun with this. So the goal in Hinduism is to go out of your mind. And people say, see, I knew it. I knew they were out of their mind. Not the mind. Go out of the mind. And don't we do this every night? Thank goodness. Whew. Otherwise, we don't rest. The body needs rest. The mind needs rest. The emotions need rest. So we literally go out of our mind. You don't know what's going on there. You go into the zero experience, the no thingness. Not nothing, but no thingness. It's so subtle. The dance of quarks, quarks, string theory, is so subtle. Until poof, no thing. Beyond the mind itself. And then we move out into the world of name and form. So we go into that absolute every night, and this is a nice little exercise also to when you're doing your contemplations. To Hindus, we call this Raja Yoga. Remember, meditation simply means to concentrate. You can concentrate on anything. Don't confuse that with Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga are Hindu contemplations. Don't fall for that silly cliche yoga and meditation. That's really a total misunderstanding that yoga is the essence of Hinduism. And there's Raja Yoga, and there's Hatha Yoga, which was never supposed to be on display. Remember that, folks. We can go forward into something that's actually going backward. We go forward into being dishonest, right? The whole woke movement, we're going forward into silliness. Sometimes we have to back up a little bit. So, Tattvamasi, that thou art, we are the absolute no-thingness, which becomes everything. Satchidananda, pure existence, pure consciousness, pure energy, sound energy. That's why we chant the primal sound, Om, the Big Bang, the sound of Om, pure light, heat, bliss. And then this Nam and Rup, this name and form that you and I have taken on as we go lifetime after lifetime. Tattvamasi, that thou art. We are the Atmana of love, light, and energy with emotions, mind, and body. Dehamanabhavaha. Now, in the Hindu Dharma, we have, obviously, the world itself. I mean, how many billions of people are here? And we're just one individual, about as, in that sense, about as significant as a grain of sand on the beach. So we want to take ourselves seriously, but not too seriously. I mean, we all do sometimes, right? Or not serious enough. That's a good equation, right? Take life seriously, but not too seriously. People are dying every moment. People are coming into existence. The world will get along quite well without me or you, no matter who we are, who we become. Sometimes attracting people to ourselves, as Yoga Swami said, a great mystic from Sri Lanka, can be a self-deluding activity. So we have to be careful of that. So sorry for being out there. So this essence of Tattvamasi is also found in the wisdom of Ma Saraswati. So obviously, if there's many forms in the physical world, there's many forms in the spirit world. Every moment somebody's dying, right? So there's chock full. And also in Hinduism, all these different deities that you see, they're really symbolic representations of states of mind, states of being. Verb, huh? You may have a personal image in your mind, or maybe you get a dream, for example, being noun, right? But I can't bring Ganesha out for everybody to see. So it would be the same thing if I said Ganesha is the form that everybody should worship. That's just as fanatical as somebody who says God is the man who created all things. I mean, nobody knows that. Nobody can bring that out. What we can bring out are the qualities that these various deities represent. They represent the qualities, the beingness, the verb of life, right? So in a sense, we can take on those qualities, so we become as Ganesha, as Shiva, as Muruga, as Hanuman, Krishna, for Durga, Lakshmi, right? As when we take on those qualities, right? And this is something that's really concurrent with being a human. We all have our role models growing up, and we start to become like them. We start to imitate them. Watch kids when they're into sports, for example. They start to emanate or imitate their heroes, their sport heroes. So we have all these wonderful beings that are really representations of inner states of consciousness. So we can't get into all that right here, but we have many podcasts that may prove to be illuminating for you, and some videos also. So in Ma Saraswati, we have a beautiful female deity that represents having attained some measure of expertise, because her very name means to have flow. Saraswati, having flow. In other words, you practice something so long that you start to in a sense, master it, which takes time, right? Especially the more in-depth the area you go into in life, it takes time. That's why just pause and think a moment. What if I said I was a 200-hour physician? A 200-hour certified tabla player, sitar player? I mean, you would just laugh me off the air. But you have a 200-hour certified professional yogi? Come on, folks. It takes decades to prepare for in-depth subject matter. First and foremost, a person has to be a Hindu before they teach. Remember, anybody can learn all the various Hindu yogas, which is not just Hatha Yoga. It's Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Gyan Yoga, etc. And Hatha was never, ever supposed to be on display. So, with Ma Saraswati, we also have animal deities, vehicles, we call them vahanas, that are associated. Sometimes we overlook them, but they're very profound. And Ma Saraswati has Hamesah the swan. Just think about swans for a minute. You can review a video we just did on Hamesah the swan with Ganapati and Saraswati. That'll go more into detail about that and make this clearer to you. But the word Hamesah means I am that, Hamesah. Saham or Soham, that I am. And that is referring to the absolute nothingness and the Satchitananda, the zero, and then the underlying unity of Satchitananda, which then becomes specific name and forms to be respected for what they are, right? Don't confuse generalities and specifics, very important. For example, many Hindus have devotions, but Mass is specifically Catholic, Puja is specifically Bhakti Yoga, Hinduism. So with this swan, Hamesah, reminding us, I am that. But remember, we are also this. This completes the circle now. So, thinking of this, here's a little poem that came through yesterday. So, Hamesah, Hamesah. I am that, I am this. We are that, we are this. We face reality and also seek bliss. 1 foot in the world, 1 foot in Atmana, Ganapati's lesson, living a balanced dharma. Prakriti and Purusha, a dance of harmony. This is Nataraja, Jai Jai Shivaji. Raja Yoga, meditate, it's good for you. But also do good karma and help others too. Hamesah, Hamesah, I am that, I am this. Find the balance of practical bliss. Karma Bhakti Rajayana, ethics, devotion, meditation, enlightenment. Karma Bhakti Rajayana, this is the way to nirvana. Charyakare Yoga Jnanam, this is the same as we just told you. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. How many times do I have to tell the world all of Yoga Sanatana Dharma? This is Hinduism. Watch your Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Om Vedas May. One is only half the binary system. The Hindus added the zero to complete the mission. One is only an indicator of what you see, but life is a composite of multiplicity. Monotheism, it's all about the one. Yes, it brings some people together, but also can create war. Now, that's no fun. Yahweh bless, God Jesus bless, Allah bless, can create a man-made mess. So 0 to many, Vitaraka Mudra, reason, is closer to reality. Hence the Sanskrit Tamil Hindu neuter term Brahman for the Big Bang, you see. So grand old delusion, G-O-D, or for the New Age yogis, D-O-G backwards, delusions of grandeur. Realize that we are all that inner essence of love and light and energy with a specific body, mind, and emotions. As we go from untruth to truth, humbly admit our ignorance as we move to an ever more enlightened state of being, and tap into that love, light, and energy, and respect the outer expression. Asatoma asad gamaya, tamasoma jyotir gamaya, amrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And for you Hindus out there, stand up for the Hindu, yoga, philosophical, scientific lifestyle. Om. Jai Ganesha. Jai Hindu. Yoga Dharma. Om. Shanti. 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 Hamesah. Hamesah.